Hey,
Hello, Sascha! Oh, it's good to see you again.
oh shoot, like
Well,
it's so hot. Huh?
welcome to this heat wave. Here we are in 90-degree weather on Interlude, but I did put a tarp up here, so at least we're not in direct sunlight. So we'll only.
It's hot everywhere.
Well, I'm sorry. I can't imagine what it must be like in the valley right now. It must be sheer torture.
Oh my God! Like I was sweating before, I'm sweating now. Like oh.
So anyway,
Yeah. Let's
So?
talk about like you said like you want to talk about the convention.
well, a lot happened this week. So we
Okay.
already have the first half of this dilemma has been presented. So now, what was your impression of the convention?
Gosh, it was well put together. I was impressed with the people, artists like Hollywood ladies, and I was impressed with Republicans who came to talk about Biden. It was very impressive in such a divided country and situation, and people crossing over to reach for somebody they believe will be a better president. So I was impressed with everything they put together. A show, unprecedented show, without the people like applauding and cheering.
But wasn't that wonderful to actually be able to hear a speech from beginning to end? To hear
Absolutely.
without everybody trying to make applause lines, had to have fancy lines where they were expecting clapping and things like that. Instead, they actually had to come out and say something, make a comprehensive statement from beginning to end, and then you can say, that's interesting. Now I think I begin to understand what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And this we've never had in a presidential campaign that I remember. You know,
Yes,
the only
it's
thing that comes
different.
close to that are the debates, but the debates are still coming anyway.
Yeah, but it's interesting, like how Democrats actually adjusting, adapting to the situation. It's very interesting. They go like extra mile to present themselves. It's been interesting.
Well, the other thing with the Democrats is they had an unbelievable amount of people who were willing to speak on behalf of the Democratic Party, entertainers and politicians from both sides of the aisle. This was spectacular. The other thing that was amazing, and if you watch day by day, how they came up with these ideas on the spur of the moment to do a live presentation. I thought the very beginning, by having everybody from all over the states and somebody from each state saying when they did the voting and things, that was brilliant. And then all the nicknames that Mr. Trump has for Biden, I don't think apply anymore. Not after that speech. He gave a great speech. And Obama was unbelievable. Michelle Obama was unbelievable. Kasich was interesting. Some of the things were, you could see as they were improving as the week went on. But it was, and the music was incredible. I mean, the musical performances were really good and with great musicians.
Jeffrey, is it a political point you're talking about or entertainment?
Well, it's both.
So, like, what did you get as like you a Democrat? What did you get? How do you think?
That's very easy. It's
Okay.
easy. Here we, in the case of Biden and Kamala Harris, we have people with true empathy, people who came from the masses. Two people who really worked and struggled right from the beginning to get to the position they are now. Whereas not somebody who had his whole damn life handed to him on a silver spoon, never had to do an honest day's work in his whole life, and then everything that he has was given to him by his father.
Yeah, but again, like, let's talk about Democrats because like
but that's a big difference in terms of your culture. The difference is that somebody like Biden, who really lived through some horrible tragedies, losing his wife and daughter early on, wound up in two great marriages, very family man, who literally took the train to work every day. I mean, it's a very, very impressive man, in spite of this fact that he grew up with that stutter. This little boy who came on
Yeah.
about the stutter. He stole the whole show. He was great.
I agree with you.
And but you really have a person who really cares about everybody in this country. He made a point of talking about, we have 170,000 people dead, and he feels horrible about everyone. Everyone had a life. Everyone had a history, and he talks about this. And on the other side of the coin, you never hear a word about it. They're just casualties. So this is going to affect, I think, the outcome of the election, and it's going to get worse and worse as more information comes out about the other side.
And as we talked before this video, we've talked about that Biden had to make a presentation to the Republicans and other people who are undecided why would they go and vote for Biden. Did he do that?
Yes, and he made a big point of saying, I want to be the president, and he said this in his speech, I want to be the president of the people who voted for me, and I want to be the president of the people who voted against me. But understand that I want to be a president for all of America. And they re-emphasized that point over 4 days. And this is a huge difference, because the other side only talks about being the president of his base. And I think that's going to make a big difference, especially as the week goes on. There's a lot of going to be difficult things that are going to be coming out in the case of Trump over the next couple of weeks. Another one of his cronies is just about to go to jail,
Geoff,
and then the Cohen book's coming out.
Let's not go there, because it's all
Okay.
arguable, debatable, and again, we're talking about the convention, and I think the very key moment that was never was mentioned by anybody, nobody is talking about. One of his stepdaughters, she said something, the key point for Biden, which they didn't explore. She said, every time we needed to do a very serious decision within our family, we would come together as everybody, and we would do a decision all together.
I remember that. That was very important.
But nobody talked about that, how to make that as a point for Biden personality, that he is inclusive, he's including everybody. This is how he's gonna operate, by listening to everybody and including
That's
everybody.
not true, because they made that point throughout the whole 4 days, and even Biden and everybody else talked about how that's the way they worked through the whole Obama administration, and that's the way he worked through Congress. I mean, he was the one who actually got other people, together to make their own policies come together.
I agree with you, but this is the key point, that it's not just listen. Here's my stepdaughter talking about that. This is not, I'm just not making stuff up. This is how, like, even in the family, how my grassroots working, that I'm including everybody, the small and big, and this is how I operate.
Yeah, I understand I'm sorry to interrupt, but when you saw him, every time you saw a cutaway during other people's speeches or throughout the week about Biden, he's doing that with everybody. He's talking with kids, everybody who wanted to speak with him and have something to say to them. Can you do this? Can you do this? He didn't just ignore them. He would have conversations with people that he met one time and call them back. This is like no other president that we would ever have had in the past.
My point was that everybody was talking about that stuttered kid, everybody was talking about this, but nobody was mentioning that, look, even inside of his family, he operates as a president of his family who includes everybody. My point, that nobody talked about that incident, this particular, I'm talking about that. Thank you, Jeffrey.
The right person just presented it. So just remember, the other thing, the most important thing about Biden, which I love, is you never hear Biden say, I will do this or I will do that. He doesn't speak that way. He always speaks in terms of, we will do this, we will do that, we will put together an amazing administration. It's always we. or they or us. It's never I or my or me, which is what we've had to deal with for almost 4 years now, and that's a huge difference.
And now we were talking about like positive stuff. This is what I think negative for me, because I'm independent and I need Biden to say out loud, I'm not a socialist. I don't believe in socialist values. I believe in social programs, but not socialist country. I didn't hear that.
I actually believe that because, for instance, the one person who, what's her name, Ocasio-Cortez, who wound up presenting Sanders, you know,
for president.
Yeah, but they didn't give her a lot of time, which I think was the right thing. And then,
because there is no point. They managed. They properly managed. This is.
But I don't believe. You know, one thing that's been very, very clear with Biden, he's not for Medicare for all. He's willing to listen to compromises or something like that to see what could possibly work over the next years. But he is for trying to come up with a healthcare system that works for everybody. Now, along those terms, you should mention your idea of a healthcare system that could actually work for everybody, and maybe with luck he'll watch this video.
No, again, like I have big hopes if like we talked about my book. The whole, like, for me, talking right now, like with you, like many times we're doing, like trying to do it every week. I'm hoping that people will catch up and start reading my book, not because it's my book and stuff, but because what's going to happen. Turn that phone off.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, because the point for me being here, that I have designed the like healthcare changes, the whole system, how it should work. I designed how we have to deal with illegal immigration. I designed many things that we can just take from my book and just start implementing. And also like with Harris, and when she was talking about, she says like, I will represent all people, but she said all people in undocumented people too. And I'm just like, people I know that they're not afraid, but they push back on that. How would you elected person for United States, like to be a vice president, how are you pledging to undocumented people who are not citizens of this country? How are you going for this? So
it's like the answer is to provide at least the people that are here now with a path to citizenship.
But why would they have that path? They illegally came.
You know how many people originally illegally came here throughout the history of this country? You have to start. This whole country is a country of immigrants, except for the
immigrants,
Native
but
Americans.
not illegal immigrants. It should be, because why would you stay in line to wait until you like? I came to this country, I stood in line, I got the visa, I went through.
Okay, and what about all these illegal immigrants who are still here and still paying their taxes, even though they're illegal immigrants?
If they illegal immigrants and they don't have social security, they work for cash and they create, not they intentionally create, but the whole staff created the chaos in our financial and healthcare.
Okay, there has
hold on.
There has to be a compromise in there somewhere.
In my book, I'm making the compromise. I say, listen, let's make all the people who are here, and we are trying to understand what to do with them, and they trying to understand what they want to do with their lives. Let them work. Let them issue special permit to work. And as in my book, I'm saying like, listen, let's tax their work employment for the special migrant tax, and then whenever they work like 20 years, that we will pay them a pension like Social Security and when like it wouldn't be much, but if it $200-300 a month, they could just go back to Mexico or Guatemala or countries they came from and have a nice life, because and they have like constant payments. So much like I did in the book, like it's all thought through if you just go place by place, I mean chapter by chapter, and it's all connected. And the healthcare right now, people going like to VA hospitals, and they say like, listen, if you're in a VA veteran, it's a good healthcare, and nobody asking why it's a good healthcare in VA hospital. Do you know why?
Why?
Thank you for asking. Well, it's because you cannot walk into the VA hospital from the street. No way. But you will walk in to the emergency room if it's not VA hospital. That's what screws up the system, because people who don't have insurances don't pay a little bit in the system. They go for the big time, like in using that system.
How do you fix that?
It's in my book. It's a long story.
Give us the short version.
The short version is this: you have to put everybody on a payroll, because they're working for cash, and they destroying the system. They Democrats, they treat people like illegal immigrants not well. It's not like we will not push you out of the country. But from the other side, we don't have people who are cleaning the toilets. So here you are, you will be cleaning the toilets, because you who came into the country, you have no documents, you have no opportunities, you have nothing. So what can you work for?
Let me give you an example. I remember I grew up in Miami.
Okay.
And in Miami, we had a company, my father's company. They made kitchen cabinets for Mica products. And there were people who were working in the shop, people who were from Cuba, who had come over here as refugees and things like that, and they were working for us. Some of these people were amazing teachers, and they were scientists, and they were doctors, and they couldn't do their normal work that they trained for their whole life.
I have a bachelor in physics. I came in '93, and I couldn't do physics, so I went like to wherever I could do. Okay, so
so you know the situation.
Of course.
And so I'm sure with all these immigrants that have come over, these illegal, obviously a lot of these people are coming here because they're coming from horrible situations. But I'm sure among the people that have come over here, you have the same kind of doctors and the lawyers and the scientists and things like that who have to, start at the bottom doing something just like you did, just like the people that work for my father did.
What's your point?
What's the way out of that?
I'm just telling you that the way out of this is this. So you have to let people who are here to work, to register, not just for the driver license, but to register and work openly for paycheck. They would then the employers would have to pay workers' compensation tax, other not tax but insurance and other taxes. Like I'm offering migrant tax. So the migrant tax, the money would go for Social Security for that immigrants, whether they want to do wherever they want to do. If they will be citizens of United States, that's fine. But if they're not, they can go after 20 years and live in their countries, getting all life payments for what they did for our country. And if you have to
so that would be like a fair retirement.
Exactly, but the point is this: if you're a Democrat and you worrying about people that you bringing in, it's like you bring in, adopt a child. You have to know that you're responsible for that child.
Okay, but on the other side, we have a president now who just treats every immigrant as a rapist and a criminal. What do you do about that? You're locking people in cages at the border. You're literally horrible stuff.
Okay, you see, the Democrats, and you particular too, because you're sitting here, you see, there are it's partially true. And I want to say, like Trump, he has to go. he did like many good things, but they with all that bad stuff, it's all disarray. It's arguments every single day. He says one good sentence, and at the end of that good sentence, he says something completely insane that it crosses like all what he said, and it leaves the room for arguments and just some kind of like disarray. But with Democrats, they exaggerate. Like for example, he didn't build like cages at the border. The problem, like, and we're talking about, I think, kids who were separated from their mothers. And the problem with this, it's not about Trump. It's all about the Congress, and I will explain you why. Would you like to know why?
Yeah, because I don't know. You may get some arguments from me about that, because it was basically Trump that created this. It's Trump that created the policing organization that caused this, and then all of this was about a fakakta wall that he wants to
okay,
build.
let me just tell you why that cages and stuff like that. So why separating mom and children? And this is wrong. But what's going on, that you cannot incarcerate, like you cannot get on people in a custody because they illegally crossing the border. You have to put them in incarceration, some kind of, right? Am I pronouncing correctly, right?
Well, you're talking about like a concentration camp or something.
Not concentration, but you have to listen. You have to take people who illegally cross the border. You have to do something with these people. Where are you gonna put them?
Well, you shouldn't put them in jail.
Where you wanna put them? They just cross it. What would you do with them?
Either you get sponsors for them, or find places legal, or if there's if there's housing available, you
right,
put it there where it can be controlled.
Right, but that's the thing. There is no. The Congress has to set up rules. The Congress has to say appropriate the funds to do that. But the Congress, instead of doing that, they put the border police, border patrol on a spot, and they say like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And the border patrol people say, "Listen, we just following the law. We took the lady on the custody. She's got a son, or she's got a daughter. We cannot put all people together in a prison, kind of like."
But fine. But there's right, and you just don't separate a family. You just don't do
right,
that.
But hold on.
This is something out of medieval times. You can't
I agree with you.
that.
Right, I agree with you. But the point is this: it's not Trump who come up with this. Congress.
Of course it was.
Okay, let it be. Okay, Trump. Something happens, Trump. So Congress.
While he's president.
But
bad
Congress,
news is
who does the ruling?
Huh?
Who does the laws?
Huh?
Who does the laws in this country? Congress.
But he was breaking the laws that we had like DACA, all the DACA people.
We talked about, just let's stay on the border, and we said there is a problem where we don't know what to do with people who cross illegally the border, because you have to take them on a custody. Somehow you have to put them somewhere because they broke the law. They crossed the border. So the point is this: if you're Congress, you have to make a ruling. You have to do something. It's not on Trump to go.
But in many cases, these people were fleeing for their lives.
It doesn't matter.
Of course, it matters. That's what this is what happened during World War II. How many people came here to flee Germany and things like that, and Russia and everybody else? They did everything. They were on boatloads of people coming to the United States. People escaped persecution.
But we didn't let them. They went with the authorizing, like when they were like putting on the ships going to United States. They were authorized to do that. on a border, if you cross a legally border, you have to, you see, and this is actually, it's a good, we just talked last week, and you said that you for the borders, you said that you will not, like Democrats, it's not for the open borders, and now you're saying that if there is a problem in any country, you allow people to cross the border.
Yeah, but what the Trump administration was doing, they were making it impossible for people to cross the border.
Because they have no rights.
No, they were lined up trying to get into the country legally, and the Trump administration did everything they can to make it impossible for them to find one location where they could come into the country legally.
Jeffrey,
On purpose.
in my book, again, like we're talking about open borders. Let's stay on a. If there is a problem in any country, if you invite people you kind of like you open for the possibility that they will cross the border, and you adopt them, you will bring them, like you kind of like you do something with them, and then you have legal immigration, but you have to have resources for if 1,000 people came in one day, you have to provide food, hospitality, teachers, doctors. You have to do something with these people.
There were enough people volunteering in many cases to take care of all of that. But Trump and his cohorts were doing everything they could to paint everyone trying to get into the country as a rapist, as a criminal, as a murderer, as Antifa, whatever they want to say. It wasn't true. It's a cock and bull story.
But it's different. Like
yes, but it may be different. But that was the result.
The result
is now families have been broken up in many cases forever because they did it so badly and so disorganized that now they don't even know who belongs to who anymore because nobody cared.
Okay, so like we had this incident or many incidents, so now we know like there is a problem. Who is fixing it? Who is in the Congress, or who is working on that problem?
Right now?
Yeah.
Absolutely no one.
But we have Congress,
no,
we don't have House.
We do not have Congress. We have a Congress that's trying to pass laws, that would solve these problems, and the only thing they can do is write a whole stack of paper, which Mitch McConnell, again, throws on the floor and never even offers it for a vote in the Senate. This is not the way the country was designed to work.
I never heard about any proposition to solve the illegal.
Oh yes, there's so many things from DACA and everything else. There were
DACA,
huge fights.
It's not about what is going on the borders, and Trump is actually resolving that by building the wall. It's bad, but it's something is being done. And let me just say, I'm not even believing. I'm just defending Trump here. but the thing is,
you're going to lose a lot of readership on your book.
But you have to be honest about. If Democrats should say like, listen, you want to build the wall, this is an opportunity to come up with a comprehensive situation on a border. So let's potentially build the wall and do this and do that. Let's do together something. But instead it was all about either we build the wall or we don't do anything on the border. And that's it.
Yeah. Anyway, the main thing is that the immigration thing is important right now. As bad as the immigration problem is, there's one major problem in this country, and that's it. And the problem for the survival of the country and the world is COVID-19. Period. The whole election will be about COVID-19. Can we survive this pandemic? I do not believe we have a chance of survival as long as this administration is in office.
You will survive.
They're incompetent.
You are surviving now. You will survive.
Yeah, but fine. I'm surviving, but most people are going to die.
And not most people 10% maximum, 6%.
Yeah, but they're still going to get sick or die because the government is doing nothing. The one thing I do
They're
know,
doing, but
one
not
thing I
much.
do know is that if with somebody like Biden in office, there will be a mobilization to either control this virus or get rid of this virus like we've never seen and that you'll never see with
And
Trump because he just doesn't care.
He cares differently. And let me
That's
just
for sure.
and let me humor you and let me just say that this is where Biden should have capitalized on this, and he should say like, listen, the leadership starts with your appearance and your conversation to the nation. And Trump being without the mask, to me, I'm without the mask, or it's me, I'm an idiot. Look, I just do whatever I want to do. Like, I'm not presenting the country, but Trump has to present the country. He has to present the message. The whole thing starts from Trump.
He doesn't care.
I understand, but that's how Biden should like simply.
Biden is always with a mask.
Right,
always. And he's always talking about a mask. And he's always telling that the minute he's
Jeffrey,
president,
listen what I'm saying.
there will be a law. You have to wear a mask until this thing is gone.
Hold on. I'm just making a point that where Biden could capitalize, just saying, listen, the even small things by showing the example of how you want to do and how do you expect people to do by own example.
But
Trump doesn't do that.
No, but Biden does it all the time.
I agree, but Biden
so why are we talking about it?
Because Biden has to make the point, or
He
somebody.
does it. Makes the point every time he opens his mouth.
Okay.
Sorry, every time Biden has got any kind of, whenever you see Biden, the first thing he does takes off his mask. Everybody has to wear this. That's the first thing he talks about. The first thing he says, to cure this thing is based on science. What do we have? I'm sorry if I bring up Trump again. What's his latest stupidity? Sorry, he brings on the My Pillow guy to come over and brings him on television and recommends him with this crazy herb that will kill you. I say this over and over again. You will die, or you will wind up with a heart condition so bad. And yet he's promoting this is going to cure the virus.
Why? It's interesting.
Unbelievable.
My Pillow guy is supporting Fox News like maybe for decades. I don't know for how many decades. And this is like, I think, the major sponsor.
Are you saying decades or dickheads?
I don't know what I'm saying. I need translation. When Trump's saying something, people like translating, interpreting. It's like arguing what he means, what he says, and that's what has to be gone from all presidency. We have to have some kind of a straight message. What is going on? Starting from the personal example of how you treat people.
Well, it looks like we're all in huge trouble until the election because nothing is going to change. What's going to be very, very interesting now. Okay, we saw the difference of a Democratic convention, which was beautiful presentation, really
very
good people,
well put together,
intelligent people giving intelligent speeches, and very, very. I mean, some people. Obama gave one of the greatest speeches of his life. I think Biden gave the greatest speech of his life. Michelle Obama is always great. And then
I would potentially disagree on some, but we've talked about
we
that.
spoke
I'm not
about that. I don't agree with
okay.
that. But the whole speech was magnificent. And then
Obama's there, both good speakers.
And then Kamala Harris, she was great also. And what was nice about Kamala Harris, instead of taking the bait of Trump and trying to insult Trump for 10 or 12 minutes, she talked about her history and herself. And she gave a couple of zingers about Trump, but it was wonderful to see. We actually got to find out who this woman is because a lot of people didn't know her. And I think everybody finally got to see seriously who Biden was.
Or it's
That he wasn't
that's
that he
important.
wasn't this sleepy Joe as
No, it's a very important,
Definitely
like,
not.
Talking
Yeah.
about his family,
Yeah.
I really found out a lot. I usually watch everything. Like,
So now let me ask you this: do you have any predictions about what the Republican convention's going to look like?
I'm not gonna say I'm interested to see what's gonna happen. Republican has to match with message and.
Here's what I predict: you're going to see Trump giving speeches and things like that every night in rooms crowded with people, nobody wearing masks, nobody social distancing. It's going to be the actually perfect example of what not to do during a pandemic.
It will be what I wrote in my book. It will be not about Biden. It will be about is the Democrats, are the Democrats socialists or not? Because most of the people who voting for Trump, they're voting as a person who's standing between socialism in this country and
See, I would have agreed with you, like 6 months ago. Now I think we're on a whole other set of rules.
We will
Now
see.
I really think that right now everybody in this country is worried about being alive in 6 months. It's that, fine. We all know that most of the people will recover from this virus, but we don't know what they will recover to, because every day we find out that people who have recovered are still suffering terribly, and there's recurrences and things like that. The question is, will there be a cure? What kind of a cure will it be? Right now, and everything depends on that. Schools will never be the same. Businesses will never be the same.
For a couple of years,
the restaurant,
yeah.
Yes, but a couple of years is enough time to sink most of these industries.
I agree. I think that financially we will be very vulnerable to what's going on. We will be we need to really think how financially we have to do.
And as soon as you add something else, like here in California, we're dealing with right now. There's 500 fires. 500 different fires burning in upstate California. They've run out of people. They've already lost. I think they said over
firefighters.
They've already lost 500 major
acres or something.
Major
Houses.
Facilities, houses, and things like that. Universities in trouble, and it's very, very bad. And there's two major hurricanes about to hit Texas and the Panhandle of Florida. This is unheard of. Two hurricanes at the same time.
In 2 weeks, we will be talking about climate change. I don't want to do it now. I created the model of the climate change, because nobody today has a model of the climate change. Starting how it started, what's going on right now, what are the major forces driving that climate change, and what it's going to happen and how to fight it.
Yeah, along those lines, do you know what caused most of these fires in California?
What? People?
No, lightning strikes. They
okay.
never had something like that. So had something like, what did they say, 1,200 lightning strikes that caused most of these fires. That's a result of climate change. They've had temperatures, even now, the highest temperatures ever recorded in Northern California in history. And they can't fight this thing. If they don't get water, if the things don't cool down, there's no way they can get ahead of these fires.
It will be worse and worse. It will be worse and worse. And again, I have a non-profit. I open non-profit. I'm putting together videos, and I will present that climate change model. I talked about in my book too, on the 15th chapter, about the climate change. Mostly what we've talking about, I have answers for all of that.
Okay, for those of you who are listening, you have to go to the website, the Blue Glaciers.
.org, blueglaciers.org. It's not completely yet finalized because I'm working. It's a work in progress. But that's where I put all the videos. It's only one video right now, meaningless, because the key point about the model, what is going on. Again, Jeffrey, let's talk later about this.
Okay,
because
so, but we only have so much time. So remember, check that out. And most important, try to get your own personal copy of The Purple Vision.
yeah, it's on Amazon.
It's not very long. It's about 120, 130 pages.
Something.
And you will learn more in those 120 pages than you will learn in reading manuals about climate change and all these other subjects. It's absolutely extremely succinct and so well written. You'll enjoy the book very much.
Thank you. So, are we done for today? Like, did we talk about everything?
I think so, unless there's something else you want to talk about. My poor profession is dying. I'm a musician, as you all know. I'm a violinist, and I also have a business in violins and musical instruments. And everybody I know, sadly, is unemployed or out of work. And people are learning how to try to change their world in this Zoom generation, and try to do live concerts on YouTube and whatever. And so people are becoming very innovative in this situation.
And that's how
in every industry.
Yeah, and that's how the government should come to the rescue in point, not with the money, but with the ideas how transform the businesses to a different reality that we have. Sponsor with incentives to creators of a different reality. How can we just all live through the viruses, all the fires and stuff? We need a different mentality of the government, not giving the money to sit at home, but to giving the money as incentive for doing something great, and changing like sponsoring the companies and people who creating something good for how we can live differently.
I think we're pretty much done for today, but I think for next time, obviously we're going to be talking about the Republican convention next weekend. Hopefully not the whole time. It depends on how much kindling wood that they've given us to destroy. But otherwise, I think that we should start talking about what's going to happen in the new world of 5G and the new world of AI, because artificial intelligence is going to change everything about life as we know it on this planet very shortly.
Yep.
Yes? See you all next time.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.